This is the bean and wheat mixture that was planted in the autumn. And Lily and Ruth have been out here harrow comb weeding it. It's quite a fine judgment to go in deep enough to get rid of the weeds, but not too deep that you pull up the crop. Well, welcome back to Shimpling Park Farm. Well, spring is definitely in the air, and we've been very busy with both the crops and the sheep. Well, there's about a month to go before these lovely ewes are going to give birth to their lambs. So today we're crutching them.
We're taking half of the belly off and crutching around the back end, just to make sure it's more a hygiene operation, and also we'll be able to see if they're having any lambing problems.
Okay.
And the wool is taken off the belly just so that the lamb can find the teats really easily. Like her teats there, there'd be no, once that cleans off, there'll be nothing else the lamb can mistake a teat for. That way we'll make sure the lambs get a first feed of colostrum a bit quicker. And there's a thing called wool sucking, where if the lambs are hungry and they sort of get a little bit weak and they sort of start sucking on the wool. And equally, if they just suck on the wool anyway, they're more likely to get bacteria like E. coli. When it gets a little bit later on to the late April, there's less likely the risk of fly strike. If she gets a little bit messy, it'll be shorter wool and should keep cleaner.
And what are you going to do with the sort of dirty tags of wool?
Cruise liner ships get re-carpeted every 3 months or 6 months, and there's been no cruises. I think genuinely coronavirus has upset the wool sales, yes.
Okay, it will just compost that.
Yes, it's not.
Well, it's a really beautiful morning. Just listen to those skylarks singing. And John's desperate to get drilling the last field of his winter wheat and thinking about the first fields of the spring crops. What's it feel like, John?
It feels good. I mean, what you need to do is feel there's a lot of dry stuff on top where it's been exposed to the wind and the sun. But it's really, your cultivator goes in a little bit deeper than that, so it's really this stuff and how wet that stuff is, which is not too bad.
This is a field we cultivated in the snow to kill the weeds and to prepare it. It's the only treatment it's had since harvest. And the frost is happily destroying the weeds for us, ready to do a bit of spring drilling. John, what is amazing is how the frost has conditioned the soil, and the seed bed is going to be gorgeous. Yep. Sam's here. He's going to pull the cultivator through it, ready for the drill. And in doing so, he's going to end up pulling out some of these weeds. How's it going, Peter?
Very good.
Amazing to be drilling this early.
Unbelievable how it's dried up.
Is it lovely?
Yeah, it's really good.
And what's going in here?
Oats.
If you get them in early, does that make a difference?
Well, hopefully they'll get established earlier and be a better crop at the end of the day.
Fingers crossed.
Longer growing time.
It's an incredibly beautiful sunny Saturday right at the end of February, and it's dried the land out so quickly that we are able to start drilling our spring crops. Greg's designed and manufactured these little extra tines which run behind the wheelings just so that they can bury the seeds, so it's quite interesting to see if it's working.
The tyres go across 2 rows of seed, which sometimes are very difficult to bury because of the pressure of the tyres. But you can see Greg's put these track eradicators on. You can see it's nicely buried in there. Want a bit of moisture.
Yeah.
And here as well, you know, looking down here, it's very, but you can see that they're just below the surface. I mean, really, what you want to do is just bury them so they're not eaten by birds. Greg's modification is working really well. So it's great.
While I'm over here, there's some metal detectorists from the University of East Anglia who are just having a good look over this field before the crop comes up. What are you digging for?
We're surveying these fields with field walking and metal detectors to look for evidence of human occupation from the Bronze Age through to modern times.
It's got a constant hum, hence the headphones, and it goes high. If there's something that's potentially good, silver, lead, gold. If it is rusty iron, it goes low.
At the moment, metal detecting as a hobby is not permitted, but this is part of our ongoing research.
So John's just coming out to look at this wheat. They've obviously had a huge amount of rain this winter. They've survived the frost. John, how are they looking?
It's looking great, actually, I have to say.
Yeah?
I think, actually, I was worried about the germination because there had been sort of 1 year in the barn, but it's a blend of all different wheats, and I think actually it probably helps the vigour a bit. They're sort of all competing with each other, and I have to say it looks absolutely fantastic. It was drilled in September and is now ready for hoeing.
Robert and Cameron and George are having a lovely playtime this afternoon with this demonstration model to replace our gator. It takes a lot of hard wear and tear. What are you going to do, just give it a bit of a test?
Yeah, a bit of a demo, yeah.
But whatever we replace it with has got to be able to tow, get through mud, be cleaned down easily, be economical to run and be incredibly reliable without lots of repairs. The arable team has carried on drilling late into the evening wherever the weather is allowed. Unbelievably, it's almost a year since we started bringing the farm to you with these diary recordings, which we started when the COVID-19 global pandemic hit the UK. See you next time.